All right, so this week I got a chance to talk to a lot of insiders on Sunday. I usually do that on Sundays, just call around or they call me. Uh, and we have a feature each week on Dog Post called What We Were Hearing. And this right now is going to be part of that, talking about, you know, what one college football assistant coach told me on Sunday about Georgia's issues, if you want to call it that. They don't seem super explosive, and because of that, they have to be exact. Winning helps with that because you can move on to where you can reinforce stuff in practice. Usually, when you are winning, winning does that. And here's the quote Georgia hasn't had to worry about. When you are losing, you are battling something else in the building. So that's something that Georgia's not had to deal with. I don't think in Kirby's time they've ever had a losing record at any moment. Maybe in 16, but certainly the 16 season felt like a losing season, although it turned out not to be. But losses to on the last play of the game to Tennessee, getting blown out by Ole Miss, losing to Vanderbilt by a point, losing to Georgia Tech, and then getting, I would say, manhandled by the Gators. That was a tough run. And the season seemed okay at the start with the way that Georgia beat North Carolina that year. But folks that I talk to, get down to they're not executing at the exact moment they have to execute, which is in the red zone. I've talked about that a lot this week. But I think if you are executing, then you are going to score more points. But that one quote, I think is important to remember because that you're winning or you've won means that one, and Georgia certainly has not had that issue lately. That glosses over a lot of the problems usually, but Georgia fans are so and correctly saying, "Hey, we're struggling at this exact thing." Most people are just blaming Mike Bobo, which is like the lowest hanging fruit and usually not right. And then I guess people have pivoted away from criticizing Carson Beck. I mean, he's played pretty well, to be honest with you, particularly for a guy on his third start. But really, this is about getting it done the right way. And here's another thing from the article. It says, as well as South Carolina was playing in the first half, Georgia spent that half and other parts of the game making mistakes in the red zone. Peyton Woodring missed 2 field goal attempts on Saturday, and both were preceded by penalties by the Bulldogs. So that's a part that I think is not being thought about either, is Georgia just stopped itself. It's not like South Carolina made 3 straight plays to stop Georgia. That's not what happened. Tight end Brock Bowers was flagged for a false start on 3rd and goal from South Carolina 13. At the start of the fourth quarter, Tate Ratledge was called for the most crucial foul of the game, a holding call on DeJohn Edwards' 6-yard run on 3rd and 3 from the South Carolina 16. Georgia had been set up shop probably first and goal from like the 9.5, but certainly first and goal from the 10 at minimum. So they would have had more time to kill on the clock, and they would have been able to really just finish that game off completely. Think about the 2 guys I just mentioned. Brock Bowers, who is arguably a top 5, well, not arguably, he's a top 5 football player in college American football. And Tate Ratledge, someone who has been a multi-year starter. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of problems from those guys. Those guys have played very good football for a long time, and they both made penalties before misses. Did they miss the kick? No. Did they push Georgia back more? Oh, yeah, they did. No question. It's a team sport. It all matters. All of it matters. And this article that's going to be over on the website. Make sure you're going over to Dog Post. You're missing out on a lot of stuff by not going over to the site. But listen, we got an article here about, did y'all see where 5 million people watched Georgia and Carolina? Well, I did. You did if you follow Dog Post, because that's what I wrote about. And of course, our friends at EcoPoly, I mean, they've just been great so far during our journey. This is really nice gear. This is very nice furniture that you can get made exactly the way that you want. This is the exact chair that I've got, the swivel glider. that I've shown so often. You can get it in a bunch of different colors, so make sure you're taking advantage of that while you can. 15% off, y'all, and free shipping. If you go to Eastman, you've got even more selection. You get more off, but they will ship it to you for free if you live in Texas or Tennessee, parts of Tennessee, or South Carolina. God bless you after this week. But I think it's Georgia bought itself time to get in, and as one person called it, they mauled South Carolina at the end. They were bigger, faster, and stronger, and they used that. Another person told me they wear on people, but they have things they're going to have to iron out. And I think, the sky is falling crowd. I mean, there's a way to criticize without doing the sky is falling stuff, because the sky has not fallen in a while. And, on the site earlier this year, on the webs, on Dog Post, someone clicked back to the story about Stetson starting the UAB game. I'm going to click on it right here, and you're going to see some of the reaction that Matt DeBerry wrote this story, our buddy Matt. And the reactions are fast and furious. Hope fans don't boo him. Pathetic, speechless. He isn't good. He isn't part of the plan. Not good. Beck will enter the portal after this, and rightfully so. Kirby struggles with quarterback room. Sorry, Carson. Kirby would rather win 13-3. Wasn't part of my plan for sure. We've seen this show before. We all have. Hope. Me too. Wasted reps. Some of these guys are really good posters. It's not Bennett's fault. No reason to boo him. Totally true. It's your ticket, but no reason to do that. Coach Smart is not the answer. He's looking like Muschamp. If I'm Beck, I'm already on the way home already. No one knew what was coming, and here's a great one. Carson Beck should get plenty of playing time today. Stetson will get us the big lead first. Completely true. No problem. Y'all chill out. This is atrocious. A lot of these folks have been around the block for a long, long time. And then down here at the bottom, most of these posts look comical in retrospect. And you can see this post here is from yesterday. So, earlier this week too, I guess Monday. So it's in the moment, it's always harder to know what's happening out there. And look, when Stetson was playing against Arkansas, I thought Georgia was going to lose that game. I thought Georgia was going to lose to Arkansas that day. It felt like it at the half. I'll tell you that right now. It felt like that at the half. But that's not what happened. And, when you talk to people who've been around the block for a while, I don't know, some of them are just too optimistic. Sometimes people get a particular thing in their brain or their head, and that's what they just want it to be, whether that's true or not. Usually that's that can be negative, but usually it's a positive thing. So I have to realize that. But I think, in the case of Georgia right now, this is coming down to execute. They're not hitting big plays from the 30 in. Like if Beck is throwing, let's just say Beck throws a 30-yard touchdown. Obviously an 18-yard touchdown. You're not bogging down in the red zone. Only one of those twos is in the red zone. But you're not having to execute in the red zone because you're barely there. So I think this week, the biggest thing, I think I've said the word red zone a lot this week, and I don't mean our buddies at Red Zone up in Athens on Clayton Street. I mean literally in the red zone on the field. If they get back to normal, it's not horrible right now. It's just not where it needs to be. It's not horrible. But instead of winning by 24, you're winning by 10. And that's just not quite good enough. And that will come back to haunt you. Kirby and them usually correct things. Let's just see if they do that this week.